Welcome back to another great episode of Motivational Monday. I'm your host, Pierre. Thank you so much for your continued support. Make sure you like and subscribe and share the video or two. We're building a community of motivators. If you have a friend, a loved one, whoever, artist, creative, have them send an email at thebrunchclubatlanta@gmail.com. For my next guest, man, is a real special one. I've been knowing him about 12 years now. This is my fraternity brother, LB, co-owner of Ultra V, rap artist, The Sky's the Limit, Black Dove, man. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Good to see you, man.
You too, man. You looking good, bro.
All right. Not looking bad yourself.
Hey, man, so for the people who don't know you, just tell them who you are, how you want to be called. Black Dove, Akeem, what you...
Man, you can call me Akeem, Black Dove. People know me as both. You know, CEO of Ultra V Productions, like he said earlier. Artist, rapper, investor, man of many facets, whatever you want to call me.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, yeah.
I just want to let you know, man, I appreciate you coming on my show, man.
Yeah.
I know you was one of the first people I started talking about when I first wanted to create the show, man. It's just, for you to come here, elevate, fight through COVID, man, is a testament to the ambition and what we've been going through, bro.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to give a little backstory, the whole focal point of the show is just give a work as a platform to showcase individuals such as yourself, man. Everybody has a story, you know. We all go through our old trials and tribulations, man, but it's how we come out of it, man.
Yeah.
And the mindset that we have when we go through that. Mm-hmm. So for a little bit, just people don't have to get too personal, man, but just give us a little bit of backstory. I know you said you're the CEO of Ultra V, so how did that come about? And just give a little bit of yourself.
I got acquainted with my cousin, childhood cousin, that we saw each other in passing all the time at different family events and whatnot. And her name is Edna, by the way, it's a she. And we met up. Actually, one of our uncles put us together.
Okay.
And she did music, I did music, and we just started making music together. But we didn't think of making it a company. And she always had a name of what she had in mind of what she wanted to represent herself, which was Ultra V.
Well, believe it or not, I was in like 7th grade and I was in science class and I shortened Ultraviolet in like trying to write down my notes as Ultra-V. And for some reason that stuck with me. I was just like, yeah, I like that. Really like that.
And I told her, I was like, listen, let's just make it into a company. Do the paperwork, make it into the LLC, and turn this into a business. You know what I'm saying? You make beats, I write. A lot of people, they need that in the game. You know what I'm saying? You always need writers. You always need producers. So I was like, listen, it's going to be Ultra V Productions LLC. We're not going to be a label, but we're going to be a production company. That way, we're not going to have somebody signed to us, but we're going to do production for them and still get credits off their music or whatever they do. You know
when somebody comes into your studio, you get rights to certain music and stuff.
Exactly.
Beats and everything.
Just a percentage. I don't want to be responsible for somebody's career.
So basically, Edna was the one with the name Ultra V, and you brought the logistics behind that, man.
Yes, correct. Correct.
And so what made you become be a rapper? I mean, I know you was rapping in college and stuff like that, but what made you take it into more of a business standpoint, a business acumen?
Well, we can take it back when I was a little bit younger. Basketball was my first love.
Okay.
But, in high school, I wasn't really taking school serious.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stay eligible to play ball. So I started freestyling and whatnot. And then that's where it took off. Yeah. So when I got into college, I started taking classes. I was a business major, so I started seeing a different side of it. You know what I'm saying? Added on to being a creative, I made my own organization on campus.
Okay.
Which involved music. You know what I'm saying? I had so many people who did singing, who played instruments. I brought so many people together. And I told myself, one day I'm going to be an executive. So,
amen.
Yeah.
So the thing is with that, man, so you said you was hooping at first.
Yeah.
And then the bars started calling your name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that wasn't where you went to college, though. So what did you study when you was there? Like, what made you just be like, you know what, I'm going to still keep chasing my dream, even after I go through this in school?
What put me in college? Honestly, I'll be real with you. Nigerian parents. You can't grow up in a Nigerian household and not go to school. Like, my dad looked at me like, nonsense. You want to be a rap artist? No, in this house we go to school. We are a doctor. We are lawyers. So I went to
money.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I went to school first for my parents, and my first major was accounting.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't for me. I wasn't about that life. When I got them 2 Fs, I was like, all right, it's time to switch. You know what I'm saying?
This ain't for me, my boy.
It's not for me. But I went into logistics. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple uncles who were truck drivers who who own trucking companies, and it was something that I was familiar with, and you know, and I use that, you know, skill in my music business as well. Like you said, I do the logistics and put the paperwork together. I do all that. So,
Wow, man, wow. And the thing is, man, and that I appreciate a lot of people when it comes to something like being a rapper, that's solely just ambition. And it's like the music and the stuff that you create, it ain't really for everybody to get.
Nah.
And a lot of times it's storytelling of the stages you are in your life and stuff, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can go through going to school and at least attempting to foster your own, well, I guess, prototypical foundation of what you were raised to be, but you still focus on your ambition, it takes a lot of strength. And it also takes a lot of risk and a lot of times of you just being by yourself. So over the course of that time, probably you could hit on like when you're in college, was there ever times of like separation where you need to sit back and draw back and be like, you know, I need to write down exactly what I'm going to do. I want to rap, but I also know that I got to be able to provide for myself.
There's a lot of times like that, especially when it came to my junior year in college, when it came time for me to graduate, you know. I'll go back to the moment when I switched my major. I really questioned a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I wanted to do music, but I'm like, man, I don't want to get out of college and be a bum and not have no money, because it takes money to be successful in music and to make money as well.
Yeah.
So I really sat down like, okay, if I switch my major, I'm going to have to take some time off the music and just focus and get into my books and get into my studies and graduate and get that over with.
Yeah.
And get back on my course with music later on.
I want to dive in a little bit of just your mind state in that transition, because I feel like we all kind of went through a transitional stage, becoming a man in college.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that, just like over that time of your life, was there ever something where you like woke up and you was like, you know what, I need to go ahead and start taking my life with a more keen eye and being more ambitious towards my passion?
Yeah, that happened shortly after college, actually. You know, corporate America is a beast. It's a monster.
Yeah, it'll humble you fast.
It will humble you.
Yeah.
You know, because you're sold this dream. You're in college, practice your major, get your classes, get your courses, you graduate, and you in your mind you think you're guaranteed a position.
Yeah.
But when you get into that job, that workforce, you're starting at the bottom of the totem pole, right?
Yeah. You gotta prove yourself too.
Yeah. So sitting at the desk at work at my first job, I really told myself, you know what? I'm gonna make money, but money ain't everything. I ain't gonna be happy doing this forever. So I have to go back to the drawing board with this music and figure something out.
Okay.
And get it out the mud.
Was there some type of like I guess vision board or like a list of objectives that you needed to like achieve first before you could take it and like, let me go ahead first and take this music again?
Yeah. I made a list of how much money I need to bring in.
Okay.
American. You know, I was born in Chicago, so I grew up as an African American. So seeing those, I had the best of both worlds, being African but growing up as an African American, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's different.
It's different. It's certain things
that
I saw that I understood that my parents did not understand. So, but it still gave me the advantage to actually maneuver. You know what I'm saying? And even now to this day, I'm able to network so easily because I'm able to adapt. Boom, boom, I'm able to move around.
You ever be familiar with the setting?
Yes.
And not necessarily know everybody in the room, but you know how to maneuver and be comfortable
exactly.
in a way where it's like you don't come off as being negligent or ignorant to certain things. That's a very important tool, man.
Yeah, it's important.
A lot of that comes with you just being real with yourself too.
Yeah,
and being transparent and being willing to just open up and stuff.
Yeah.
So being in this entertainment industry, man, I know you probably experience and go through a lot, man. I know you probably go through tenfold. How do you approach being an artist, being an entertainer? With your, like when you go out and do your events and just with your life necessarily?
The key word to that is balance.
Okay.
Because it can get draining. You know, you're always on the go. You get what I'm saying? And even when you're out there networking and doing interviews and meeting people, you have to, I'm not going to say put on the face, but you have to have a certain energy about yourself.
Yeah.
Being in this game, you can never have a down energy. It always got to be up. You always gotta you always gotta be positive, no matter what's going on. Earlier that day, some shit could happen where, you know what I'm saying, you lost your debit card or whatever. You still gotta walk out there like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I done did many shows and I had bad news, whether it be relationship issues, whatever.
Family drama.
I still gotta perform. I had a show in Houston. I wasn't in the best spirits, but I still killed that show because I knew the task at hand. This is the brand of Black Dove. I'm an entity now.
Okay.
There's Black Dove and there's Akeem.
Yes.
It's two different people. When I'm Akeem, I'm in the crib, I'm chilling, I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm vibing out, I'm hanging out with my frat brothers, we going on road trips, turn it up. But then again, when it's Black Dove, it's a whole different vibe.
Nothing else matters but what you're there for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Blinders just dropped Christmas Day. If you ain't checked it out yet, you need to. You slipping, bruh. You slipping, man. So I do want to ask you, an album, man. So like, I be freestyling.
Yeah, I know.
I be freestyling and stuff, but I got so much respect for people who actually can put together an actual album.
Yeah.
So just take us through like a little bit of like, is there some type of like condition you had to be going through? Like, damn, you know what? I need to write this down, and then it forms into an album, or what? Like, how you get to the point of actually making an album?
It's a little bit of what you said, like what I'm going through at the time in my life. I got to be going through nothing bad necessarily. It could be good stuff. It's a mixture, inspiration that comes from different experiences.
Okay.
And then I just sit down and just kind of format different songs. It's a process.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One day I might write about if I seen a chick with a fat ass walk across the street and I was like, damn, I want to holler at her. And I rap about the conversation. I put it in one verse, and then the next verse would be like another scenario.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just sit on the song. Or sometimes I might just write the song all in one day. Or sometimes, depending on how I feel, if I'm real sauced up in the studio, I'll freestyle. You know what I'm saying? It all depends.
Do like that one take Drake and up.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about experience and inspiration. If you ain't got no inspiration, it's probably not gonna come out good.
Yeah.
Music is all about what you feel. It's just like, artists who paint or do drawings. It's all about what you feel at the time. And a lot of people nowadays, they just making whatever. They making songs, they forcing it, and you can tell.
Yeah. It's like your art ain't got no spirit behind it.
And they got no spirit behind it. And pay attention to the ones who's making it. Big artists like Drake, Future, you know what I'm saying? You got the Baby, Little Baby, especially Little Baby. You can tell it's a lot of spirit behind his music.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
When you listen to his voice and when he's rapping, he's talking about what he's
lived in.
What
he's lived still in there a little bit. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So we had a little conversation outside camera when you was just basically talking about like when you have an artist, there's usually like a big company behind it. Like these artists are actually businesses. And y'all starting Ultra V with that having, certain rights for people if they use your equipment and anything, you getting rights and stuff like that. How do you fuel Ultra V? How do you get more people to use it? How do you gain awareness from that?
I say is what people we have what people need. Okay. So everybody needs production.
Yeah.
Whether it be from instrumentation, people to write for them. A lot of people can't write.
Oh, so okay. Y'all got ghostwriters and everything too.
Ghostwriters, also film too. You know what I'm saying? Video editing, things like that. A lot of people need a team. So if you're able to go to a third party and get that production done for you, it's a no-brainer. It's always going to be needed. We've had different people come through the studio. Right now, it's kind of like we've kind of been fell back from that because we focus on our stuff right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then we'll get back to that. But, I mean, it's just simple. Give people what they need, you're never going to be out of business. Just like the logistics industry. Everybody needs food to be transported to one place to another.
Service.
Yeah. Everything needs to be transported from
point A to point B.
Point A to point B. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's needed. You know what I'm saying? It's not going nowhere.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, man, along this journey in life, man, and many conversations we've had, many levels of conversations that we've reached with each other, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I've learned from you, man. One of the biggest things I would say is your work ethic.
Yeah.
And the fact of how you're a type of person that no matter what, your surroundings will never dictate or affect the character of who you are and how the world presents you. And that's a very intricate tool to have.
Yeah.
And it's just, what ways do you feel that, were you always this way, or was there certain things that you had to draw back? You like, well, I'm letting the world beat me up a little bit. Do I need to change? Like, what got you to that point of thinking and just moving?
The biggest thing is, and I think a lot of people struggle with this. I wasn't always like this. A lot of people are people pleasers, or they worry about what people view them as, or their insecurities eat at them because they're afraid of what people gonna say, or people gonna laugh at them, or people are gonna be angry at them.
It's like scared of being really themselves.
Yeah, it's scared to be themselves. A lot of people put on a face. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people are putting on faces out here, even to this day in 2021. You get what I'm saying? But I got to a point where it was just like, okay, if I put on this face, if I do this, or I put on this facade, right? People are gonna be impressed for 10 minutes, and they're gonna move on with their lives.
That's true.
And I still gotta face the truth.
And
I still gotta look at myself in the mirror.
Through. Yeah.
So you might as well just be your authentic self and be genuine from day one, bro. Like, it's still a struggle. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people struggle with it, but being your authentic self and putting yourself out there, whether you're embarrassed, whether people laugh at you or not, within that, you're still gonna motivate a lot more than people laughing at you.
That's very true.
If you look at all the great leaders and all the great people who's still here, who's passed away, they were themselves.
Yes.
Whether they were ridiculed, laughed at, or hated on, they still left a legacy and inspired so many people. Yeah. And that's what it's about. Fuck the money. Forget about the nicest cars and materialistic things. What are you doing before you die?
What are you leaving behind?
Are you gonna die? Nobody gonna talk about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna leave for your kids? You know what I'm saying? You have to be impactful.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Leaving a legacy behind, man. Being bigger than your surroundings.
Yeah. It's bigger than us.
So with that, man, what do you have any type of, like, I guess, keys to success that you live by, or ways that you stay disciplined on yourself? Like, how do you stay disciplined with yourself?
How do I stay? I hold myself accountable, number one. I try not to be too hard on myself, because that can happen too.
Yeah.
But I hold myself
like
accountable.
Self-sabotage, something like that.
Yeah. I look at where I come from. I look at all my accolades, everything that I've done, and I'm like, okay, Akeem, you did this with just this amount of resources. Now look where you're at now. You have way more resources than you had back then. You got yourself here. So why stop? You know what I'm saying? You can keep going. No matter if you have a bad day, good day, you may feel, hey, some days you wake up depressed. Some days you wake up discouraged. Everybody, come on, man. I'm human. But at the end of the day, I keep going. The biggest thing is not quitting. Like my man Nipsey said before he passed, the best shit I did in this shit is never quit. He'll tell you himself, he went through every emotion. I'm going through every emotion right now. But guess what? I keep fucking going.
I got a job to do.
I done did too much to turn around or regress. I done did too much. You just said it. Fat Joe, Amber Rose, The Game, MLK.
These people know you now.
Interviews with DJ Scream. Went to New York. Kicked it with Dipset. What are we, like, why would I quit? It don't make no sense.
Wow. And I like the fact that you said you reflect on your accolades, man, because that's really the biggest cornerstone of measuring growth.
You have
to. Biggest cornerstone of measuring growth, man. And one thing that I've learned a lot growing up, it's okay to brag about yourself.
Yes.
It's actually, in the world we get into in the time frame that we live in, it's actually encouraged more than anything to brag on yourself, because so many people have a struggle with finding their identity.
Yeah, they do.
Figuring out the direction, like you just said, putting on a face for the world, and then when they get home, they're empty. And they have nothing else to show for it, man.
There's a lot of people going through that.
The one thing that I would ask you was, like, if you had an opportunity to at least go back to like your 12 or let's say 11-year-old self, what kind of wisdom do you think that you would instill in him, just after everything that you've learned from that moment now? Was there be anything that you might have want to avoid, or would it be something that you just want to give and encourage?
I would say, Akeem, right now at this age, focus on being yourself. Don't worry about what the crowd is doing. Don't worry about fitting in. Focus on your work, your schoolwork. Definitely your schoolwork.
That's your dad coming out of you.
Yeah.
Akeem.
Yeah. And right now start practicing different, different things to build up your work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Because back then at 11 and 12, not saying I didn't have work ethic, but as far as like different routines, things I put in place, I didn't have that.
Wow. Okay.
And if I would have had that at 11 or 12, who says where I'll be at now? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So the biggest thing I would say to myself is, just, stay focused, stay disciplined, be yourself, don't worry about the crowd, focus on your schoolwork, and build up your work ethic. Yeah.
Discipline is more important than anything, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything, man.
Yeah.
One thing that I admire about my brother here, man, he be in the gym too with me, man.
Yeah, I do.
Be in the gym
A lot of people don't know that consistently. He show it more than I do, but y'all about to see.
Talk your stuff, bro. Talk your stuff, bro.
See. I used to box for 2 years. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, I guess it is.
The one thing that I do like the most about that, man, when it comes to working out, man, that's like the biggest physical form of faith.
Yeah.
Of just having belief in how you want to look, man, and just sticking to it and actually doing that jump, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, to me, that helped me fuel the rest of my life, like the rest of the day and the stuff that I approach, man.
That actually does help you, like you said, it helps you become more disciplined in other areas in life. That physical exertion that you put on yourself, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, I got to get to a certain goal. So every day, it's like you're building a brick. Boom.
Yeah.
Every day, you get into it. It's a marathon, right?
Yep.
And then, you know, mentally you're already programmed in that way, right? So when you start doing other things, right, like you go to work, the way you set everything up, it's the same way. So
and it's like you're too tired to do anything that's gonna take you away from getting into it, doing it the correct way.
Exactly.
And one thing that I did notice, it helps me identify the distractions that I put in my life. Ooh. And that's the one thing I did want to ask you. As you continue to achieve more success,
yes, sir,
and get more things, did you realize that you actually put distractions in your way?
Yes.
And how did you identify? Okay, I'm gonna have to rephrase this question. How did you call yourself out?
Ooh, how did I call myself out? That's a good question, Pierre. Oh my God. I call myself maybe after the fact. Let's say.
So
maybe let's say I do something like I slip up sometimes and fall into my distractions, and then I realize, damn. If I wasn't doing this, I could have been doing that, and I would have had this completed already.
Wow.
So that's...
And got it a lot sooner.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I necessarily call myself out. I go through the experience and learn from it and then adjust.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I do is, I had a guest on here earlier. She actually used to do my hair. She had this thing called a gratitude log. And the thing is, she said that every time before she goes to sleep, she'll always write like 6 to 7 things that she's thankful for and happy for. I don't have a log, I don't write it down, but I say that stuff to I say it to myself in the mirror. And the one thing that I've noticed that when me starting to say that repetitive and like to myself in the mirror, I've actually started to realize that I lose sight of my path because I put a lot of stuff in the way to cloud because I'm fearful of the person that I'm already becoming. And that's the one thing that I've learned a lot by calling myself out, as well as like giving yourself gratitude and like telling yourself like you're a king, you can become this. Because once you actually start to say certain things, you actually start to believe it. And then once you start to believe it, you don't approach yourself as anything less than the value that you put into yourself. Exactly, manifestation.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, because that's why I love this show so much, man, because I learned so much from each person that comes on here, man. It's really, I really honestly feel like this is a blessing from God to have a platform to do this, man. But it's just the level that you get in your life where you can identify the distractions, and then like what brought upon you getting to that point to be able to like, damn. Cause you know, like you said, you can happen like 2 weeks later and it's like, damn man, I knew I shouldn't have been fucking around with that girl. Yeah. Damn, I knew I shouldn't have stayed out and had that last shot of tequila. Or dang man, why am I writing the same verse over and over again when I had the whole 16 finished, man? And it's like, I think that was probably the best. As a man, I feel like that's when you actually can identify your maturity and your growth. Yeah. And it's on you at that moment in time where it's like, okay, am I gonna just keep my hand burning? Or I'm gonna bandage it up, let it heal up, and then avoid the flame. And avoid the flame, man. Yeah. Avoid the flame in life, man.
Because a lot of people go through something like that, they get distracted and they realize that they wasted time, and then they get discouraged and be like, oh, I'm not
Depression sets in.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be a failure, it's not gonna happen. Woe is me, oh my God. But you gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Because everybody going through something, bro.
Yeah.
Hell, man.
Everybody going through something. And I'm glad we doing this. You know, I want to say to everybody out there, like, we're all human. You're gonna go through something, you're gonna fall, just keep getting back up, keep going. We just went through a pandemic. We're still in one, but at the same time, I think pandemic was a blessing in disguise to realize who you are and be comfortable in your skin.
How did you handle COVID? Let me ask you that.
The beginning was rough for me.
Okay.
Really rough.
Talk to me a little bit about that. How was it rough for you?
I was coming off a high because I just did a mixtape with DJ MLK, just did an interview with DJ Scream, shot the video for Ride the Wave, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I had a whole plan mapped out for the whole 2020 because I had hooked up with my guy Malcolm. He works with Warner Brother Records. And he was, running me through a whole promotion package at the time. So I was excited about that. I said, we about to go crazy in 2020. February hit, finished shooting the video, went through a horrible breakup. Then the pandemic hit, so I was just forced to sit in the house, not knowing where my music career is gonna go, going through a bad breakup.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So your mind and your emotions all over the place.
My mind, my emotions all over the place. Working from home, working for a job that, I was there for 5 years, but me and the manager just kept clashing. It was a lot. You know what I'm saying? So how I cope with it, I ain't gonna lie, I went into therapy. I started going to therapy. I started getting more spiritual, started getting to myself, and it took months, but I got stronger and stronger, and I actually enjoyed the time I had with myself because I became a better person. And then a blessing came at the end of that year. This whole Fat Joe came in November. So
in disguise too.
In disguise. So that's why I tell people there is a meaning within suffering. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're in that spot where you feel like you're suffering and there's nowhere to go, and you have to reach in within and just kind of just be all right, let me focus on the positives and build from there. Let me work on what my flaws are and to become a better person. Once you work on becoming a better person and that energy's within you, you're walking in your purpose,
yes,
I promise you everything's going to fall into place. Everything's going to align.
So what kind of genre is your music? Like if you want to define yourself as an artist, how would you define yourself?
Global.
Okay. So it's like Afro beats, rap,
all that. Afro beats, rap,
R.I.P. to that boy Dog,
top 4
to get it.
Please believe me when I say we locked in. You got my back, I got yours until the end.
No shade.
Be selective in the ones you call friends. It's 50-50 in this game, it just depends. The ones who love you be the same, wonderful. Man, it's spooky in the streets, this world is cold. But it's all the build you up, that's what I'm told. But I can't stop from saying on my road.
Am I the one you call my brother's keeper? I swear this one right here, it don't get no deeper. Only few that really live by principle, but most don't follow, that's when shit get critical. Take it light and then they